You're about to watch me read First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. I think I have pretty high expectations for this book, to be honest, because one of my favorite booktubers talked about how much she loved it, and that's actually why I went out. I got influenced by the influencer, so I'm like, yeah, it sounds great. It also reminds me of a TV show that I can't remember the name of it, but I remember really, really liking it. It was about this girl named Saffron, and she did very similar things to like what this book is about. And so from my understanding, this book is about a woman named Evie Porter, and she kind of works for this guy named Mr. Smith. Very common name. And her role is basically to study the town, everything about it, and kind of like infiltrate it and find her way through it, and then she has like some kind of target, and in this case it's a man named Ryan Sumners. And so for whatever reason, I don't know what like it kind of means, like in the TV show that I watched that has a similar concept, she would marry the man and then take all of his assets and run away. And so I wonder if maybe it's kind of like a similar process for this. I'm not entirely sure, but I am very excited to like see where it goes, like what the story's about. I hear it's really like fast paced, it's really intense, it's a really quick and easy read, and I think it's just supposed to be really entertaining, which are my favorite things in a book, of course. So let's crack this book right open. But wait, we know the drill. This has a dust cover, and I do not like dust covers. So we're gonna take it off, see if there's just a design underneath. I feel like there's probably just gonna be like the little logo at the bottom because of where I bought it from, but let's find out. Here you can see it as that little stamp. So let's crack this book open for real now. So I'm a little bit more than 100 pages into First Lie Wins, and here are my thoughts so far. The main character, Evie's job, is so fascinating to me. It really does. Like, it reminds me actually of like the organization from Prison Break, as well as that TV show that I don't remember the name of that had the girl who did very similar things, except she would marry all of the people and then like steal their money. And so I always love stories like that. It's definitely like different than most stuff that I usually read, which is why like I really wanted to read it. And yeah, I'm having a good time with it. So Evie's dating this guy named Ryan, and he's basically like the target or like the mark. And so her kind of role, what she does is she pretends to be a different person, and she's given all the instructions and like character identity and backstory and everything, and she studies it all. And then she has to most of the time retrieve something from that person. So there was a bit of a backstory where she had to take a thumb drive from somebody who she was like nannying, and so she had to get into like the safe and like get the thumb drive out, swap it, and then give it to like the company that she works at. And so every single one of her jobs is different. And so the one that she's doing right now, she doesn't exactly know what she's looking for. She just knows that it's related to Ryan somehow. And so she's kind of like looking into it. And obviously I'm like being very careful what I'm saying because I don't want to spoil it for you, because I've already been surprised by this book once. And because I've already been surprised once, I'm very excited because I feel like there's going to be even more that's going to surprise me. And like, it was the kind of surprise that I don't know why it surprised me so hard, but like it was right before I went to bed and I was like, oh, and then like I woke up this morning and I'm like, oh, I gotta go read. Like I want to find out what happened. Like, whoa, like this is interesting. But it also is a little bit stressful. Like the book's a little bit stressful, but it's entertaining enough that it's like outweighs the stressful aspects of it. It's like when you're watching any of those kind of like spy movies and they're trying to like crack into the safe and like the world's about to explode in like 5 minutes. It's that kind of feeling in this book. But the book itself is pretty well written. Like I'm really liking, there's like some backstory chapters, there's some present day chapters, there's different characters all with their own motives, and nobody is what they seem to be, which I think is a lot of fun. So I'm having a good time with this. I don't know where it's gonna go though. Like I don't know what the ending of a book like this would be. So yeah, I'm gonna continue to read First Lie Wins, and I'm gonna update you about the halfway mark. So I'll see you then. Wow. I like that I got that on camera. Second surprise. So I'm slightly more than halfway through First Lie Wins, and it's okay. Like, I think that there's nothing inherently wrong with it. I think that it's a well-written, it's a decent story, there's plot twists and stuff coming out from everywhere, but I don't know, I'm just not vibing with it as much as I thought I would be, or as much as I was in the beginning. Not entirely sure why, maybe just because it's not usually like my domain, but there's nothing wrong with it. I feel like I'm just kind of like struggling along a little bit here, like while I'm reading it. I'm of course gonna finish it because this feels like one of those books where the ending is really gonna like make or break it. But like I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, I don't know, the vibes just aren't speaking to me right now. There's definitely a lot of like cat and mouse kind of going on throughout the story. Like I said, everybody has like their own motives for doing stuff, and some characters have to work together now, even if they don't actually want to, which I think is an interesting turn of events. And then of course like Mr. Smith's character and like all of the mayhem and who knows what else he's up to. But also there's some other characters that you kind of meet throughout the story that are introduced in like the past chapters, not like past chapters, but like with Evie's past, and like those chapters kind of introducing you to other like aliases she's taken on, like other kind of jobs she's taken on, and like all that. It's kind of given an extra bit more like context to her and all these people, so now when she's kind of like reeling them in, you already know who they are, which is pretty neat. Which, like I said, there's nothing wrong with this story. Like, it's a good, well-written story. It's just, maybe it's just not my favorite kind of thing to read, but I am going to continue to read it. And like I said, looking forward to like what the big plot twist can be at the end. Like, I just know there is going to be one. So I'm going to continue to read, and I'm going to update you either towards the end or when I finish the book. So I'll see you in my next update. Last night I finished First Lie Wins, and I'm really disappointed that I didn't really like it that much. Now don't get me wrong, the story is well done. There's a lot of really good plot twists, there's a lot of like interesting characters with interesting motives, it's well done, it's well written, but it just wasn't for me. I think that's what it was. Like, there's nothing inherently wrong with the story, it just was not for me. And that's okay as well. Like, I always like to kind of broaden my horizons, so like reading something that's a little bit different than what I usually read, but still within a similar category, because I do enjoy like murder mystery, crime stories, like that kind of stuff. It's not like my number one. My number one is like romantasy. And so this is still within that category, but it just didn't hit the mark for me. I felt like I was really bored and I didn't really care about what was going on, which again, just from my personal experience with it, I'm sure if like this kind of crime story is like definitely down your domain, I definitely recommend it, because again, there was nothing wrong with it, it just was not for me. But I did really enjoy like the plot twists and stuff. There are definitely moments where I was like, whoa, like that happened, or like, oh, that's a good plot twist. There were some plot twists that were unfortunately a little bit predictable, but I mean, I don't really mind that. I love the really cheesy, lame romance stories that are incredibly predictable, so I have nothing against predictability, but I really loved like a lot of the plot twist. I like the way that the book ended was really cool as well, and just like the fact that the author can create these interesting scenarios and then put the characters in them and have them outsmart other characters who are trying to outsmart them. That was pretty cool. Like, that was pretty good. And it was like well done, because like it's really hard to like try to find a clever way with your characters as somebody who does write. Like, it's like, how can I make my character get out of this situation in a really clever and like realistic but like fun and entertaining way? And this book definitely did that. So I think that I'm going to be awarding First Lie Wins a total of 3 stars. And again, like I said, this is like just my experience with it. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. I just didn't really enjoy it and I didn't really care about it. There were moments, of course, that I cared, especially at the beginning. The beginning, I cared about the book towards the end I started to care, but everything in between I was like, my eyes were glazing over and I'm like, I don't care about what's happening, like, and I feel bad about it because, like, again, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, when there's like a story that's like really, really poorly written or anything like that, I feel better kind of given some constructive feedback or criticism or anything like that. But when there's nothing actually wrong with it, it makes me feel bad, but it just wasn't for me, and that's okay. But if it's for you, I would definitely recommend it because it's well done. So the next book that I'm going to be reading is Ready or Not by Cara Bastone. Did I buy this because of the cover? Absolutely, I bought it because of the cover. Also, it's a romance book, so it's my favorite kind of story. So if you're interested in watching me read Ready or Not, or I'm also reading the Brandon Sanderson books, I'm reading Stormlight Archive, and I'm also going to be reading Mistborn later. So if you're interested in watching me read that or any of those, definitely hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and turn on the bell notification. That way you get notified anytime a new video comes out. If you enjoyed this video, definitely hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!